Have you seen that viral street video going around lately? The one where a masked youth gets floored by a single slap and kick combination? It's been making waves across social media, and as someone with over 20 years martial arts experience and a couple of Amazon best-selling books in the genre to my name, I had to take a closer look. Because while it looks quick and simple, there's actually a lot going on beneath the surface in terms of awareness, body language, and self-defense tactics. Let's break it down. Hey, I'm Sifu Phil, and today I'm reacting to a short but intense clip that's got people talking. Now, if you're not familiar with him, the guy behind the camera in this clip is Charles Veach, a somewhat controversial figure online who films street-level commentary in some of the UK's more interesting areas, including in the city of Manchester, where this one was filmed. Charles's videos often focus on the darker side of urban life, including homelessness, petty crime, and the sort of roadman or chav culture that's become, unfortunately, a blight on many UK high streets. In this particular video, he's walking through Manchester on a bright sunny day, and yet, as we so often see, masked youths are out in full force. Hoods up, faces covered, clearly not there for shopping or sightseeing. These types are often involved in shoplifting, drug dealing and intimidation, and we see this exact pattern play out in the footage. Now, let's focus in on one individual in particular, a young masked aggressor who's seen earlier in the full video threatening and harassing an older guy, the kind of guy who just looks like he wants to have a quiet afternoon. We don't know the full backstory, but it's clear this masked youth is already acting violently and unpredictably. As Charles films this, the youth turns his attention and aggression towards him. Fortunately, Charles isn't alone. With him is someone he calls his bodyguard, a man named Fred, who steps in just as things are escalating. It's a very short clip, so let's check it out. Okay, so I've got my ancient laptop out. Let's have a watch.
Hello, mate. I've got to keep filming. There's some.
So he's on the street.
Are they coming up on us? Oh yeah, they're trying to.
Crowded.
There's one trying to flank us on the far right.
Here comes the threat. Yeah, here's the guy. Looks shady. Oh, he's down.
Yeah, dude, you just let's go.
That looks like he hurt.
Thank you, Fred, for saving me there. He came for you with a knife in his pocket. What the hell? Good on you, mate. Good on you. Yeah, take him out.
And that's it. So let's go back a second, break it down and take a look at how this Fred guy handles the situation and why his response is a pretty good example of a calm, efficient self-defense response. So phase one, we're talking about awareness. So first off in this video, we see the bodyguard, Fred, and Charles display excellent situational awareness. Long before the first strike, Fred positions himself between Charles and the youth, keeping his eyes locked on the potential threat. From what we can see, Fred keeps his hands visible, palms open in a non-aggressive but clearly ready position. This is classic fence posture, a technique popularized by Jeff Thompson and widely used in systems like Krav Maga. It creates a physical barrier without escalating things, a perfect mix of de-escalation and preparation. Fred is reading the situation, not escalating, but he's absolutely ready to act. Phase two then, interception. So as the youth steps closer with one hand stuffed in his hoodie pocket, possibly concealing a weapon, Fred calmly steps forward and intercepts. Now this is important. When someone refuses to show their hands in a potentially hostile situation, that's a huge red flag. It's the kind of thing that you train for in real-world self-defense. Always control the hands and control the space. Fred doesn't wait for the youth to strike. Instead, he moves first with a sharp slap to the side of the head. So why a slap, not a punch? Well, because slaps are multiple things. They're faster, they're legally safer in some cases, and often more disorienting than a punch when it's unexpected. It's a classic preemptive shock tactic, and in this case, it works well. Phase four then, final phase, and it's the exit. Here's something most people miss. Fred doesn't stick around to gloat or fight afterwards. After the threat is neutralized, he grabs Charles and they immediately leave the area. That's exactly what self-defense is supposed to be about, ending the danger and exiting the situation. And it's not just a smart move. In the UK and many other countries, it's also a legal requirement. Once the threat is over, you have a duty to disengage and retreat. You're allowed to use force to defend yourself, but you're not allowed to punish or to escalate. Fred seems to know this and handles it by the book. So the big question, was it justified? Well, if we talk quickly about the ethics and legality here, some might say he hit first, isn't that assault? But in self-defense law, there is a crucial principle of preemptive defense, acting before you're hit if you believe an attack is imminent. Now, a number of pre-assault indicators were present here if we look at it. Remember, the masked youth did have several things going on. He had already threatened other people in the video. He was behaving aggressively, and he refused to show his hands. He closed the distance rapidly on Charles and Fred. And these are all classic pre-attack cues, which bodyguards and martial artists are trained to recognise. In that context, Fred's actions are probably justifiable. In fact, you could argue that not acting might have been more dangerous. You may have read this in my books, but when I was a teenager, I was jumped by a group of guys looking just like this. I ended up bloodied, battered, and needing 2 rounds of surgery and years of time to recover. Looking back, if I'd spotted the threat and acted earlier, I absolutely would have. And knowing what I know now, taking positive action is far better than living with regret. So I think this wasn't a brawl or an ego-driven fight. This was a trained individual neutralizing a potential threat and making a clean exit. So what can us as martial artists and combat students learn from this? Well, as an MMA fighter or a combat student, there's lots of things to take away. Number one, awareness is everything. Now, Fred didn't wait to be surprised. He saw the signs early and positioned himself to intervene and to act. Number two, simple techniques win. There were no flashy kicks, no choreographed moves, just a well-timed slap, a fast kick, and a clean exit. That's real-world martial arts in action. Number three, control over ego. Now, Fred could have chased after the youth, made a show of it, or posed for the camera, but he didn't, and that kind of discipline is rare, and it's what makes martial arts meaningful. Now listen, I know Charles Beach isn't everyone's cup of tea. He's controversial, and there are definitely mixed opinions about his work, but I'm not here to debate that. What I wanted to do today was to look at the altercation itself and what we can learn from the way his so-called bodyguard, Fred, handled it. Simple, sharp, decisive action followed by a smart retreat. And I think that's something that every martial artist or anyone interested in self-defense can respect and study. Thanks for watching today, it means a lot. If you found this breakdown useful, give the video a like and consider subscribing for more martial arts insights, self-defense breakdowns, and practical tips. You can check out my books and courses at BlackBeltFit.com, and if you've got a question, drop it in the comments below. I'll try to answer as many as I can. Thanks again for watching, and as always, train smart, stay safe, and keep your awareness sharp. I'll see you next time.